the dome mineralized material that we're seeing coming out of the primary crusher. And you can see it going all the way up to the secondary crusher. I think this is getting ready for a processing. Wow, very cool. This is what we've been waiting for. This is probably one of the most exciting days of my life. This is what we've been working so hard for. This rock is going to turn in that mill into gold.
All right, well, welcome everybody. Today, we're pleased to organize an exclusive joint interview with both the CEO of Blue Lagoon Resources and an outside investment group. So Mr. Rana Vig is the CEO and has been involved with several publicly traded companies. And Dr. Quinton Hennigh is a geologist and a technical advisor to Crescat Capital. And Dr. Hennigh has been accredited with multiple million-plus ounce gold discoveries throughout the world. I'd like to thank Blue Lagoon Resources for sponsoring this video. So Mr. Vig and Dr. Hennigh, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, so Dr. Hennigh, commodities are experiencing one of their best years on record. What are some of the main reasons this is happening?
Look, there's a lot of macro reasons that commodities are appreciating greatly. I mean, there's the stimulus, there's, geopolitical events, but the thing that people must appreciate the most in the commodity space is that there's been a gross undercapitalization of commodity industry for many, many years now. Okay. You see a lot of pressure on things like oil. There's a lot of pressure to wind down oil as an industry. And, what kind of oil company is going to invest in discovery and production when, they're under the gun, so that creates a problem. Okay. Why do we have $100 oil? There's your answer. Okay. Minerals. A lot of people are anti-mining, but guess what? If we want a green revolution, if we want to do all the things that politicians are throwing our way right now, you've got to mine. Okay. And the fact that mining companies have not capitalized new mines, they've gone out and they haven't gone out and discovered new deposits is telling right now. We have the shortages we do. It is a lot of it is driven by the supply side. Okay. There's no question. So we are heading into a commodity bull where we basically have to pull ourselves up by the bootstraps and start doing a lot of hard work that we haven't done for 10 or 20 years.
So where do you see gold going in 2022?
Gold is basically a measure of the dollar strength. The more dollars it takes to buy an ounce of gold, the less the dollar's worth, and the dollar's not going to be worth as much, as are a lot of currencies. Look, it's, fiat currencies have their day and everything's, going to devalue, perhaps accelerating over the next few months and years. Look, where's gold going to land? I would say this year, 2,200, 2,400 would be a reasonable guess. Where it's going to land in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, who knows? I think it'll pass 3,000 pretty easily within the next 2 or 3 years. I think it'll pass 5,000 within the next 5, 6, 7 years easily. People say, oh, how can it do that? Well, look at gold from January 2001 to September 2011, 10-year period. It went from $256 an ounce to a little over $1,900. So yes, it can do that.
So this is for both of you, if you can both give your perspective. Is there a need for big gold resource discoveries, and how complicated or rare is it to find one?
I'm happy to answer that. Yeah, look, the big mining companies are indeed facing a supply cliff. They have, a limited amount of reserves and resources at present. If you look, all of these companies are motoring through a significant percentage of their reserve base every year. And you haven't seen the M&A activity. You haven't seen the discovery activity, quite frankly, that's just, is going to underpin the next generation of mines here. So I think we're at a critical juncture. There's been an undercapitalization in the mining industry for many, many, many years now. And I think you're going to see just an absolute urgency to find new opportunities to build mines, find new discoveries, find, preferably high grade, high margin discoveries.
And Mr. Vig, you founded a company, Blue Lagoon Resources, and you serve as its CEO. Can you let us know about your purchase and how the previous owners stopped 3 feet from gold?
Yeah, literally, it seems. Yeah, it was look, it was a very opportune time. You know, this is actually 2 years ago today is when we closed when we acquired this project. Uh, yeah, we talked. We took a look. We took a look at a lot of projects actually, and then we saw this one here. And to be honest with you, we dismissed it in the beginning. Had heard so many times the stories like this. It seemed like a small mine, and that was it. And we were looking for something much bigger. But when we dove into it and looked at it a little closer, we found that there was a couple of key things. One, that it was already permitted. You know, in British Columbia, it takes almost 20 years to get a permit. 14 is the average. So the permit has a lot of value. So we thought that was kind of interesting. And then most of the money had been already deployed in order to get it into production, and about $30 million over the last dozen years. So we thought that was kind of interesting. And then of course there was this huge, vast exploration potential on this nearly 22,000 hectare property that had never really been explored. So with all those factors, we got more and more interested, and the owners literally ran out of time. They were 83 years old, and unfortunately one of them actually just passed away about 3 months ago. They were looking for an exit, and I was just at the right place at the right time, and we made a deal, and it was a fantastic deal for us because it was no cash and a little over 12 million shares. So we were able to do this fantastic deal for our shareholders and acquire this project 2 years ago.
A follow-up, Mr. Vig. The first 500 ounces of gold are the hardest. Can you let us know about the cash generated from the processing of the mineralized resource on your property into gold?
We had 5,000 tons that were sitting in the mine that we wanted to take out. So that allowed us to do two or three very important things. We took that out last year and shipped it to our over the course of about 4 months. We shipped it to our toll mill partner and generated about a little over $1.7 million. It was fantastic. It allowed us to reconfirm all our metallurgy in real time. We got like 95% of the recovery on the gold and 90% of the silver, so which was fantastic. So it was just and thirdly, and perhaps equally as importantly, it allowed us to get all our logistics down. So now we know all the trucking mechanisms and testing and logging and all the different things that we need, so that day one when we get permission, which we expect to be later this year, we can hit the ground running.
So Dr. Hennigh, we spoke in the past, and I know you've been involved in some large gold mines around the world. At this point in your career, what types of deals are you looking for, and how many projects come across your desk in a week or a month, and how many get your attention?
Yeah, look, I would say, well, to start with, what kind of deals are we looking for? In Crescat, we're a little bit unique in the fund world because we are focused on early stage exploration stories. Okay, so this being one, but we are looking for what you would call world-class opportunities. These are companies that have, district scale potential. Like, we don't want to see just a postage stamp landholding. We want companies that have got a well-established position in a proven jurisdiction, a good jurisdiction like British Columbia. And we want to see the geology that says, yeah, this could be a big prize, a big discovery. And the technical team is also very important. Okay, so that's another aspect we look at. But that's our kind of our basic criteria. As far as look, we've got a lot of investments. We got about 70 odd investments right now. All of them are, with the exception of maybe two, are of this ilk. They're exploration stories, and the majors want these. Okay, we're basically investing in projects that are going to become desirable for acquisition in this next cycle of the gold space. So we're getting ready. We're going to be selling our assets to those miners that we spoke about earlier that need to buy them.
Let me add to that. Just so you understand how difficult it is. It took me a long time. Dr. Hennigh is very busy, right? He sees a lot of projects every week, everybody wants his attention. You know, he's very humble, but I'll tell you, he's one of the greatest geological minds of our time. All right, so it was a privilege to finally get his attention and to take a look at our project. And he was dismissing it for the same reason where everybody else was dismissing it, because everybody thought, well, it's just a small mine. But when he finally looked at it, you know, it was amazing. In fact, I still remember the very last words that he said to us as we were getting off the call. I don't know if he remembers, but I remember like it was yesterday. And he said, "You boys have a hidden gem here." And, you know, so that's the interesting thing that when you take a look at companies, when they look at companies like ours, you know, they look at many companies, and something obviously grabs their attention. And he can tell you a lot more about what grabbed his attention. But, you know, all we can say is that, you know, we're thankful and we're privileged to have such experience. Take a look at our project and help us guide to where we need to get to.
I apologize, I didn't answer your earlier question. Look, I probably look at on the order of we'll call it maybe 15 to 20 new opportunities every week, you know. So, but then I also do updates routinely with the company. So we're an activist fund. We call ourselves a friendly activist fund, and we keep engaged with the companies that we're invested in. And that means I routinely go around and get updates from folks, so, you know, and contribute too, if I can do so.
So, Doctor, what do you see in the exploration efforts at Dome Mountain and so far, and what are the exploration plans that you're aware of for this coming year?
Dome Mountain is an interesting project for this region. It's really somewhat unique. It's an alkali gold system, which kind of sets it apart from most gold deposits in British Columbia. Most gold deposits, you know, people know about in British Columbia are either associated with porphyry deposits or what we call orogenic systems. There's not too many alkaline systems. In fact, there's not too many around the world. But this project is somewhat unique. It's similar to some other deposits we know of, you know, around the planet. Buritica in Colombia is one. Buritica is a plus 10 million ounce deposit. Continental Gold drilled it up over about an 8 or 9 year period, and they found over 10 million ounce in a very, you know, deep rooted vein system, a sheeted vein system, you know, with many high grade veins. Well, that's one example. Porgera in New Guinea has been in operation for, I don't know, 30 years now, more than that probably. Barrick's still operating there along with joint venture partner from China. But you also have other examples like Lake Cowell in Australia is a good example. Kellyan in Indonesia. There's several of these deposits around. Why are they special? Because they generate high grades. Okay, this particular niche of deposits typically generates very high grades. They tend to be subtle. In other words, geologically, they're not just, you know, flamboyant, real easy deposits to see for a geologist. They take some certain expertise and you know, knowledge to explore them. And when I was introduced to the company, and what caught my attention was that this could be one of those systems. I had to get comfortable with it. I had to do a little research and digging. But after talking to Bill Cronk and hearing about some of the things he was seeing in the core, especially around the veins and in the minerals in the veins and stuff, I became convinced that this is one of these very, you know, like I said, hidden gem, I guess, opportunities. So here we are.
So for either of you, can you let us know about the 2022 drilling campaign?
Just kicked it off. We announced a 20,000 meter drill program here a couple of months ago. It's following up to our last year's program. We had actually announced 20,000 last year. We ended up doing more than that. We did about a little over 26,000 meters. So there's lots of activity. We have 2 drill rigs going. We just took a brief break. You know, the snow is starting to melt up there. So and also we're getting so much data. We have so many drill waiting on. We wanted to kind of pause and get all that data back so that we can analyze it and plan the next. But this is going to be a very busy year. 2022 is definitely going to be a very busy and a game-changing year as we execute on our plan with that 20,000 meter drill program.
And so for personal and then perhaps from the investment firm, can you let us know if you're increasing your stake in the company?
Yes, we're participating in the current placement, and that I believe increases our stake a bit. I can't remember exactly what the percentage is, but we've increased our stake. And look, we're also very keen on seeing the results of the 40 odd holes they have in the laboratory right now. Just to make sure that people understand, the original thesis that we invested in was that there would be a larger vein system discovered here, and the company has actually achieved that. Okay, that is the punchline that people need to understand, is the exploration that's been done and the assays that have been received so far indicate that there's not just one vein here. It's not a one-trick pony. Okay, this is a sheeted vein complex. Results announced in January and again here recently in March show that drill holes have hit multiple high-grade veins, and it's playing out pretty much as we anticipated. So we're very pleased, and therefore we increased our position.
I already have a fairly significant position, right? Me and my friends and my family put in about $2.2 million when we started the company. We're very bullish. Look, it's very simple for me. All right.
Sure.
I'm an entrepreneur. I'm not a mining engineer. I'm not a geologist. So I rely on, the great minds like Dr. Hennigh. So when you get someone like him look at it, when you have people like our technical team, telling me that, hey, we're onto something here, what more do I need to hear, right? That turns me into a believer. So increasing my stake at any given time, absolutely.
For both of you, what would signify success in 2022 for Blue Lagoon Resources?
Well, look, so far they've already demonstrated success back in January. Nice broad vein intercept, about 7.2 meters, I believe, of a half an ounce. And I expect a lot more results like that out of the 40 odd holes remaining. But, look, what's going to measure success is by the end of this year, I think the market will see that this is a very large gold system, deep rooted. There's some deep drill holes that they're completing that should show that veins continue to depth, just like at Buritica. And I think the market will recognize this is one of the more intriguing, in fact, probably one of the best high-grade stories in Canada this season.
Great. And Mr. Vig, what would signify success to you?
Yeah, I mean, just everything that Dr. Hennigh just said. I mean, ultimately, we want to advance the project. I think in 2 years, we've done an amazing job in how fast we're advancing this. So we're just laser beam focused on this. We want to make sure that we follow up on all the results that we're getting, all the positive results. Since Crescat's investment and since Dr. Hennigh took a look at this project here last summer, we've already had 2 new discoveries. So there's a long ways yet to go, and I think that as those results come in and as we advance, not only our application to get into production so that we can get some of that cash and start self-financing our project, but also follow up on all these holes and be able to demonstrate to the market that there is something very significant that we're sitting on here.
Mr. Vig, if the audience wants to learn more, where could they go?
The best is our website, www.bluelagoonresources.com. You'll find all the information there. I'm a very active CEO. I love talking to shareholders or potential shareholders. So there's an email link there. They're welcome to email me, and I'll do my best to get back to them at the earliest. And that's probably the best place to go.
So for both of you, is there anything else you'd like to add?
This will be a good year for gold. This is the beginning of the bull. A lot of people say, gold's already up to 1940 or something. No. This is just beginning. The party hasn't really gotten underway yet.
I double that sentiment. This is if you like to be invested in this environment, then there's no better time than right now, because historically when gold moves up, the junior miners and junior exploration companies like us move up multiples of that, and that's what's exciting, is to be able to get into a company like ours. And there's many good companies, and of course you have to do your own due diligence. But companies like ours, when you invest at early, and you have learned people like Dr. Hennigh and Crescat Capital Investing, that really it becomes the important factors, at least for someone like myself. So we expect some great things to happen here, and I think 2022 is going to be an incredible year, not only for gold, but for our company, Blue Lagoon Resources.
Well, Mr. Vig and Dr. Hennigh, I appreciate hearing the updates from 2 perspectives. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Thanks for having us.